Hey, this is Mr. Barr, and this is an edulesson, part 1. Remember to listen for that lesson ID, or the magical word. And today we're going to talk about rational, irrational, and absolute value. You're going to need a calculator for today. So let's take a look at square roots first. I'm going to give you two square roots. I have the square root of 36, and I have the square root of 42. All right, so let's take the square root of both those guys on the calculator. So I'm going to square root of 36. This is one I actually know in my head, and it's 6, right? And the square root of 42, well, that one's not inside my head. And in this case, I get 6.4807. And it just keeps going, right? So here I have what's called a terminating decimal. In here I have a repeating decimal, or excuse me, and here I have a non-repeating decimal that goes on forever. So this guy is a terminating, this terminates, stops. And this guy goes on forever without repeating. So this one, the square roots that actually turn into something, that terminate, the square roots that terminate, or the square roots that we know, these are called rational numbers. That's the big point here. And these guys over here, the square roots that go on forever without repeating, they are called irrational numbers. And the magical word is forever. Let's go on to part 2. So we've already talked about the square roots of ones that we know and the square roots that go on forever. They're irrational. Well, I can break these up even more. It's not just about square roots. It's also about other types of numbers. So we know that rationals are square roots So it's square roots that we know. It's also things like fractions, repeating decimals, terminating decimals. So those are the rational numbers. Square roots that we know, fractions, repeating decimals, terminating decimals. All of these types of numbers are rational numbers. Irrational numbers, we already know this type, square roots that go on forever. You know what? Or square roots that we don't know. And what I'm saying is square roots that don't work out. Like, you might not know that the square root of 225 is 15, but it is 15. So square roots that we don't know, square roots that go on forever without repeating. The number pi is irrational, and also decimals that go on forever without repeating. And the magical word is Sandlot, like the movie Sandlot, S-A-N-D-L-O-T, Sandlot. Edulesson Part 3. We've talked about irrational and irrational numbers, rational and irrational numbers, and now we're going to talk about absolute values. Absolute value makes everything positive. Here's how it works. If I have the absolute value of -3, well, that becomes 3. Absolute values make everything positive. If I have the absolute value of 5, it is 5. It stays positive. So the first one, it becomes positive. And over here, it stays positive. Absolute values make everything positive. This one becomes a positive. This one stays a positive. And I need to give you the magical word. And the magical word is going to be, there it is. There's the magical word. Here's part 4 of this edulesson. We're going to continue with absolute values. So if I have the absolute value of 8 minus 3, I need to simplify this first. And that becomes 8 minus 3 is 5, so I have the absolute value of 5, which we know is 5. Simplify first. Here's another one. -10 minus 2. -10 minus 2 is -12. The absolute value of -12 equals 12. And the magical word is, all right, the magical word is smalls, as in, you're killing me, Smalls. And I think that's it for this edulesson. Thanks for watching.